Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV. We want to do today an online TV interview with Maple Gold Mines. Thank God that we still can do that now here. And with us is the CEO, Matthew Hornor, who wants to give us an update. And yeah, welcome and good morning, Matthew. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Nice to see you again after so
Hey,
many.
nice to see you. It's like 6 months ago already. We saw us the last time in Vancouver at the fair, right? And
Right.
I just want to say in the good old times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world has slightly changed since that, but nevertheless, we are all working. We are all taking care of our business and doing something here. And I interviewed last week your geologist Fred Speidel, and it was more like on a technical side because you had some very good drill results,
We
and it
did.
looks like. Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like that your property is really growing in quantity, but also in quality to me. And so now I think it's even more important now to talk to the CEO before we start with a little bit of an outlook on the second half. Maybe you can summarize a bit the last 4 or 5 months is still when you had the time to drill, and maybe you can comment a bit on your results, please.
Happy to. Thank you very much. The last 6 months was a challenging time for the entire planet, of course, and our sector was a part of that. We made the decision to go ahead with drilling to the extent we could, even though the rest of the world was thinking maybe we were a little bit too aggressive. But I like to move the project forward in the right way, and so the only way to do that is to drill, and drill we did.
Mhm.
Our objective was to define additional ounces, which we did. We wanted to optimize by converting select blocks of excluded to inferred, and to advance and test some more compelling targets where the large drilling gaps exist. So the 2020 program included about 4,500 meters throughout the entire resource area. The winter IP survey confirmed target concept at 531 zone, and we found some new anomalies that were quite surprising in a good way. We have most of the drill results out now, and as I think you know, we have some excellent hits in areas where we were expecting to have them because there were extensions to surface and at depth, and also some areas where we weren't. So what I can say about the system is our hit rate is extremely high. When we go drilling for gold, we find more of it, and that is something that not all projects can boast. So there,
What
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. What makes you, for example, so happy about 1.23 grams gold over 75 meters? Why is that a very, very good hole? Because maybe you can explain that a bit for our viewers, which are not so familiar that, let's say, this on the first side, small looking grades, but over 75 meters is fantastic.
Well, if you picture how long 75 meters is,
Mhm.
and you extrapolate that out to what ultimately a pit would look like, you can start to see how the connectivity of this project is starting to make some sense. So what we're doing at the moment is, I would say, cracking the code, if you will, getting closer and closer to get to a project that you can actually start looking through a scoping PEA, PFS, and a definitive feasibility study. That's what we're all working on. How do we get to the point where we can create something large, something powerful, a huge system? And that comes down to having longer extensions, longer intercepts of grade. And that's what we're finding. We're finding more of it, and we're connecting the dots so that we can actually put out something that's something that ultimately will be economic.
Great. So you were already talking a bit about pre-feasibility study, definitive feasibility study. So those are all things which come to my mind like more. Oh, maybe we want to bring that into production. Of course, that's a long way to do so.
Yeah.
But let's say, what is the game plan for the next 6 months? Is meaning for the end of the year, and let's assume that you are not any longer held back by COVID-19. Let's assume that you can really work on full throttle.
Well, let's talk about just for a second COVID-19, because we see a lot of things happening as a result of all the capital that's being poured into the system in the United States and everywhere else around the world. What we can say now, I think, without a doubt, is the inevitability of multi-$1,000 gold. I don't know if it's $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 gold. I don't know the number, but it's definitely not where we are now, and it is rising. That is a direct result of the economic downturn, which has triggered treasuries and federal markets and federal governments around the world to start pumping dollars back in into the system. You create more dollars, and therefore the value of gold can only go up. So that's something that should not be forgotten. It has been a huge shot in the arm for gold generally, and as it trickles down to our names and projects like ours that are very unique anywhere, actually, because we're sitting happily in Quebec, Canada. We have an incredible mining jurisdiction, very attractive to many people who are looking for a starting resource package in a safe jurisdiction. These are all things there's a triggering events. One thing leads to another. So I think the COVID situation has been terrible for a lot of people, for sure, but it's caused some other things to happen. And we have in our region alone, to date, there's probably, I don't know, $7 billion or $10 billion of M&A activity in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt alone, just in our region since 2000 and last 5 years, 6 years. There's been hundreds of millions of ounces actually produced in our region. All of these are factors that cause anybody to look at this area very seriously and say, well, we shouldn't miss the safest ounces. And I'd say we are among the safest ounces anywhere. And then you go to what else is there? You have infrastructure. Anybody who's interested, a shareholder or not, could get on a highway and drive right up to our site. There's no helicopters or airplanes or anything difficult that would get in your way. It is there, and you'd pass operating mines and previously operating mines, and there's infrastructure everywhere. There's a workforce in Amos, as you know. So we have many, 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 many things going for us that cause us to be interesting to all sorts of people, not just myself, because I'm of course biased. But these are the factors that should be considered by, I think, any investor looking at any story. Where does it sit? What does it have in the bank? What kind of ounces are we talking about? Those are the things that will cause themselves and others to actually look at the producibility, the economic viability of the project, the company.
Metallurgy, of course.
Metallurgy, our initial metallurgy, of course. Metallurgy test was very good. Now, it's not to say, there's, and every project has things to work on. But we are, I think, in a very, very strong position with a lot of positive activity around us. I mean, the going forward 6-month outlook for us, just getting back to your original question, is to work on the next phase of the project exploration that Fred Speidel is leading. We have IP work that's going to happen in certain areas to define near surface, higher grade ounces, and start connecting up our resource package. That's the main focus going forward, and then respond to all of the all the activity and I think buzz that's starting to be created around what we're up to, because we have started to find some of the highest grade hits ever on this project, and this project has been around for many, many years. And now we're starting to, many years of hard work and effort by the great team on the ground are now starting to bear fruit. We're starting to see exactly where this thing is going and what to surface and the depth the extensions look like, and going after the higher grade ounces to produce something bigger, and also to figure out how we actually get underway and have something that's economic and interesting. So those are the super high level thoughts around where we're going now. if you want to go into more of the drill plan overview, we can. But I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Of course. Yeah, there was recently also a lot of M&A, and if I remember that correct, your former boss was Robert Friedland, right? And as far as I know, you had a very good relationship, and I assume you still have, yeah? And he moved for the first time into gold, I think he's now the chairman of Goldex, is the company called, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know him only as the biggest copper bull, but
Yeah.
not for gold, honestly. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. He's never been a gold bug. He debated versus Pierre one time against gold, which metal was the winning metal. I've never known him. He always likes to have it in a polymetallic resource package, but he never likes to make it the champion. And I think that's another sign of things to come. You see the inevitability, I guess it is, of gold going into much, much higher levels. And even Robert, who has never been a gold bug, is getting excited and knows he doesn't want to miss this wave that's happening, because it is definitely going into higher levels, much, much higher levels. So yes, that's also very interesting that you point that out.
And he knows your project already, I assume.
Yes.
Yes, he's aware of it.
Well,
let's see.
I've known him for a long time. Let's go.
Okay, super. That's great. Of course, important question. What is money in the bank so far? Are you cashed up for today? For this year, of course.
Yeah, we closed the last quarter with just around 3 million. So we're in good shape.
That's fine. Okay, super. When can we expect maybe a new resource estimate then? What do you think?
I think that wouldn't be until the beginning of next year. That's probably, we want to run some more drill holes on different areas outside, which we can do even in the summertime. They've allowed us to get back to the project and do some drilling work. They had stopped all drilling work, so we just got our drilling in under the wire. And so we want to do that first, and then we'll look at the new resource update. But we've added, I believe, based on what I'm seeing and what I'm talking to our team about, I think things are looking very good on that front.
Great. So could you imagine, let's go a little bit more into the future and say, okay, your resource estimate will go, let's say, above the 4 million ounces. Maybe you are approaching 5 million ounces. Let's just really super hypothetical, okay? Could you imagine to do the next big steps that you would say, why not? We are taking on a bigger strategic partner, for example? With deep pockets, because this is what you need then probably, right?
Absolutely. Yes. That is something that we are, it's everything's going very well on that front, and ultimately that's what this project needs. I mean, as everybody knows, the junior miners are the ones that are similar to what's a good example? A pharmaceutical lab. Okay, so you have the lab technicians work on a new drug, prove that it is efficacious. And once they've proved that it's efficacious, then Pfizer or somebody comes in and buys you and turns it into a multi-billion-dollar asset. But there's an incredible lift in value between when they prove it's efficacious and somebody decides to buy their discovery. That is the same thing as a junior mining space. What we're all doing, most likely, most of the time, are feeding into that huge demand that exists in the major mining and the mid-tier mining companies. They need always to have more ounces to add to their package. Always, never stops, because gold doesn't grow. It just sits and you produce it, and then there it is. So definitely that is something that we are all about. I've always been about that. As you know, there were certain deals that were around previously, and I am very, very pushy to get the best deal for our shareholders. So just know that I was again trained by somebody who's very good at that.
That's right.
And so I stick to the line and make sure that we can get actually a nice, very, very sizable lift for shareholders in a deal. And I am a shareholder, of course, as well, so I care.
Me too, by the way.
Yeah. I think it is a very wise speculation in my mind.
Yeah, super.
But so yes, that is the ultimate objective, because this needs a proper large scale drilling program to get underway. And I think the best analog or example of what we're looking for is kind of a Canadian Malarctic project, which is not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
It is large tonnage,
Mm-hmm.
Similar grade to ours. It is if you have pictures of this, you can show the audience what it looks like. But it is a massive, massive pit.
I have all the photos from Canadian Malartic. Yeah.
And so that's that company started at a $14 million market cap when nobody believed that it could work. And
that's right.
And it turned into multi-billion-dollar market cap company.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is really why I even got involved in this, to create something really big, something really powerful, something that everybody. And the difference between us and that project, though, the geology is very similar. The mineralogy, the metallurgy, we think is also very similar. We have yet to find the source rock at depth, but the depth is also very similar. The difference is we don't have to move a town.
Yeah,
there's no town nearby,
right.
Which costs a lot of money. So it's very easy to see a very close to us analog of what we're doing, and also understand where this could get to. And that's what keeps us every day very excited about what we're doing and about this moment in the market. I mean, it took a year longer than I wanted it to. It took 3 years versus 2, but now we're seeing, if you're patient enough, the gold market comes to you, and it's a matter of time. It's cyclical. And now we're seeing the gold tape doing crazy things in a good way. And I think things bode well for us and other junior gold companies, for sure. Those who are in good jurisdictions, have good packages, have yet to crack some of the engineering. Those are the ones that will do well, and I think we definitely are among them.
Fantastic. Matthew, thank you very much. It was a great update, and I have a little bit of the feeling that we see a lot of news from you in the next months, and that you are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Thank you for all your wonderful questions, Jochen.
Thank you very much. Matthew, take care, all the best, and talk soon to you. And keep healthy. That's the most important thing.
You too, my friend.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, me too, definitely. Super. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Commodity TV for you with Maple Gold Mines and Matthew Hornor, the CEO. And you heard it, a lot of good things are finally going on. As Matthew said, it took a little bit longer than he thought and that he would have wished for. But important is the company has approximately $3 million in the bank, is ready to rumble again. And it looks like the news flow is really rising in those next 6 months. And probably we want to see next year a strategic partner. That's also maybe on the game plan, and for sure is a new resource estimate for next year. And so a lot of things to do. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland. And again, all the best to Vancouver. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.